Guys, welcome back to Webby On Cars. Thank you for joining me again for another video. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, hang around because I'm going to take you through the brand new Ford Fiesta ST. If you enjoy it, give it a like and give a subscribe to the channel as well, just to support what I'm doing, and there'll be some more videos coming in the future. So as I said, today we're looking at the brand new 2020 Ford Fiesta ST. It's only just arrived here in Australia. Obviously every other country in the world's had it a long time before us. So there is plenty of videos out there, there's lots of reviews of the car on different sort of social media websites. So you probably know a lot about this car already. The only difference is here in Australia, we get a fully spec'd car, so we get all things like the limited slip diff and the driving modes that are optional in some other countries. So I'll show you around the car, we'll have a walk around the car, go for a little drive, and yeah, I'll give you my impressions at the end, but I think we know where this one's going. It's going to be a good one, I reckon. So without further ado, let's get started. So here we are then, 2020 Ford Fiesta ST. Been a long time coming here in Australia for this one. I've been waiting very patiently for some time. As you can see, this is a 5-door model, which is the only option we actually get here in Australia. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I quite like the look of the 5-door model, and I suppose they're trying to appeal to more people in terms of sort of practicality. If you've got kids, it's easier to get them in and out than the 3-door. 3-door probably arguably looks a bit sportier, but I quite like this. As you can see, this is the performance blue, a colour that I'd seen a lot of, but I wasn't too sure when I looked at it, you know, in pictures and videos and stuff. But actually, when you see it on the car, it looks really smart. So this one, the only option we can get here in Australia is to get a panoramic sunroof on the cars, because everything else is standard. So this is literally standard car, no sunroof, just metallic paint, just straight out of the box. So in terms of styling, I think this is actually tastefully done. It's really nice. They've put enough sort of styling cues to the car without going over the top. You've obviously got the different sort of front styling to other models for Fiesta. Uniquely enough, this is the only model Fiesta we get here in Australia. We don't get the standard models, we just get the ST, which is fine. You know, it's not a big problem. The small cars nowadays make up a fairly small numbers of the cars we sell here in Australia. So you've got these nice 18-inch wheels, as you can see, which I think is standard on pretty much every country that the car is available in. Nice design actually. I like the sort of two-tone effect to the wheels. They're nice. The little spoiler there on the top there just sort of kicks up. That's another nice touch as well. You've also got the twin exhaust pipes on one side, which is quite nice. Not fake exhaust pipes, actual proper exhaust pipes. There's no fake air vents at the back there, which is nice. I know Matt from Carwell goes on about fake air vents, which yeah, I think he's right actually. There's nothing fake about this car. It's just a pure simple hot hatch. Like I said earlier, it goes back to what hot hatches used to be like. Doesn't need, you know, loads and loads of horsepower, all that type of thing. It's just a good old-fashioned car. You can use it as a daily, or you can go for a good old thrash around some twisty roads, and it will do both perfectly well. So at the front you've got the nice LED headlamps on the car, the daytime running lamps as well. They're a cool little feature. And then you've got this sort of lovely sort of honeycomb grille at the front. Other standard bits and pieces we get here, so you've got things like the keyless entry, you've got push button start, you've got all the safety stuff as well. When we come inside, the highlight is probably these Recaro seats. They are fantastic. As you can see, sort of really bolstered up on the side here. and also sort of around the ribcage area. Give you loads and loads of support when you're driving along, particularly if you're going on some really sort of twisty roads. The nice little ST badge there just at the top of the seat. But yeah, massively comfortable. Lots of adjustment. You've got lumbar support on there as well on the driver's side. The front seats are heated as well. So you're not missing out on any sort of luxury items by buying Ford's smallest hot hatch. You still get plenty of goodies. You also get the B&O Play sound system as well, so they've given you a nice little upgrade there. You've got the Ford Performance kick plates on the doors, so it's a nice sort of place to be. Steering wheel is obviously the traditional sort of flat bottomed variation you get on sort of sportier cars these days, just again with a little ST badge down at the bottom. Some nice sort of stitching on the insides, this perforated area, just so it's sort of a grippier part of the steering wheel for you to hold. If we climb inside and have a look, once we get inside, you say it's a nice sort of, I guess, premium feel to the inside. It doesn't feel like a cheap basic car that you're sort of buying here. Dashboard is sort of partly digital. We just bring that into life. I do like the ST. I don't know if you can really that quite up on camera, the little ST badge that comes up on the screen. Then you've got all the controls there in the middle, your speedo, your rev counter. So it's all nicely laid out, it's easy to read, which is what you want when you're just driving along. Coming over, you've got the Sync 3 sat-nav system. I've actually made a separate video to that, and I'll pop a link up in the top right hand corner for you to click on if you just want to go and have a look at the Sync 3 system, how that operates. Down below that, you've just got your climate control buttons and controls there. 6-speed manual gearbox, which is the only option, which is fantastic because it makes it a proper driver's car. Coming down just behind the gear stick, you've got the buttons there. That one's for the driving mode, so you can switch between normal, sport and track. That one you can turn off your traction control, and then you've got the stop start button to deactivate that. So it's all nicely laid out. It is a nice place to be. And like I say, these seats are super comfortable. Stop start button there for the engine, because push button start. Black headlining as well. So all sporty cars have to have a black headlining. It's compulsory, I think. But that suits the car really well. Maybe nicer just with the sunroof, I think. I think personally I'd have a sunroof. So that's a little bit of a tour of the car. Like I say, you've probably watched plenty of videos on this car, because there are quite a few out there in YouTube and on social media and that type of thing. And it's one of those cars that lives up to the hype. So many cars get, rave reviews, and then you drive it yourself and you think, oh, it's a bit of a letdown. But I think it's in the same kind of category as the Hyundai i30N, where it's one of those cars that you can, it's raw, it's manual gearbox, it makes pops and crackles from the exhaust. It does all the basic hot hatch stuff really, really well, but it can be a daily driver at the same time, so it's a real sort of Jekyll and Hyde car. I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic, and for the money, it's not an expensive car. You're talking sub $40,000 all up on the road with all your options. So yeah, it's fantastic value for money. I'd quite happily buy one if I was in the market for something like this. It's just a cracking little car. But yeah, we're going to take it for a drive now and see what it's like, because half of a car is the looks, the way it makes you feel when you're in the car, but when you're actually driving it, that's another matter. So let's take it for a drive and see what it's actually like. Right, so now we're inside the Fiesta ST. Let's take it for a quick drive and see what all the hype's all about, and whether everybody's been accurate in terms of what they think of the car. Because it seems just like, everybody thinks this is the best little hot hatch on the market at the minute. So I'm quite keen to see what it's like myself. So yeah, let's take it for a drive and see what she's all about. It's unusual driving a manual again, I have to say, because nowadays I'm used to driving automatic most of the time, and I think a lot of people are too. So it's actually quite nice to get into a car with a manual gearbox and you know, be in control and have a bit of fun with it. Because yeah, far too many cars are going down the manual route these days, and yeah, you're losing the fun factor of driving. Okay, so you can, it doesn't take long to get to 60 kilometres an hour, it's, yeah, which is not a surprise to be honest. But being a 3-cylinder engine, it's got a nice little sort of raspy sort of note to it, I suppose, which is typical of a 3-cylinder engine. But no, it's quite cool actually. I like it, and the steering is very well weighted, and it feels quite direct. So just while we're waiting for a stop and go sign and some roadworks, it feels quite a nice place to be. It's very similar to the Focus, as in sort of the dash layout and that type of thing. So yeah, it feels very familiar. But that's not a bad thing, because that's quite a nice place to be. These seats are super comfortable and hold you in. Yeah, unless you're being driving like an idiot, I don't think you'd fall out of these seats. Yeah, super comfortable, and the fact that they're heated as well is obviously nice for cold winter mornings. Steering wheel feels quite nice in your hand, sort of fairly chunky. You've got these sort of perforated sections where you hold the steering wheel. So yeah, that's quite nice. A little ST badge just on the bottom there. All the buttons are sort of fairly easy to operate and, you know, understandable, close to hand. That little 1.5 engine picks up really well. So it's a nice bit of low down torque, and then you get that little thrum of the engine. And depending on how high you rev it, you got those little pops and bangs from the exhaust as well, which is quite cool. Find a really good country road, this would just be an absolute laugh, I reckon. You just wouldn't stop grinning from one ear to the other. Yeah, just a lot of fun, but it's easy to do. It's not a difficult car to drive. It feels quite easy and sort of natural, I suppose. But that was a little sort of acceleration in 4th gear there. And it didn't struggle, it just picked up and off it went. So yeah, it handles sort of the low revs quite well, which is nice. This almost reminds me of what hot hatches used to be like. I mean, it's got all the safety stuff and gadgets and bits and pieces, but it is a little bit kind of, it's not too much power. Now, some cars these days have got so much power that you can't actually use it all. But having enough power and then getting the most out of that car is probably a better solution than, you know, having too much power and not being able to use it all. So yeah, I think it's everybody who's written about this or done a video review of it and said how great it is, yeah, I think they're right. Yeah, it's just find a nice little spot to do some photos. Actually, the gearbox and the clutch are really nice as well. They're not too heavy, because sometimes you get, yeah, your clutch is quite heavy in performance cars. Well, it's not performance car as such, but even so, it's nice and light. The gearbox, it's got a nice notch to it. It's got that feel to it. But yeah, it's not sort of clunky or anything like that. It's actually quite nice. The steering's well weighted. So yeah, it's a good driving package. So yeah, I'm really impressed. So that's my video of the 2020 Ford Fiesta ST. No surprises really, I suppose. Every review out there that you've probably read or seen or watched or whatever has said how fantastic this car is. And they're absolutely right. It is a fantastic car. What else would you want a car to do for you? You know, you can use it as a daily driver, you can thrash it on the weekends, and yeah, that's all you need a hot hatch to do really, isn't it? So yeah, come and buy one. I would say there's not many of these things around. They're in fairly limited numbers. This one's in the showroom at work at the minute at Berwick Ford. I don't suppose it's going to last very long. I'm certainly going to encourage someone to try and buy it, because I think they'll be really pleased. I think they have a lot of fun in it as well. So that's me signing off to the end of another video. Thank you for watching. I hope you've made it to the end. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one.